Last night we told you about Ken Kitts. He's a disabled veteran who had to move everything, and he needed help.
A local football coach called News 4 Tucson and offered his team services. News 4 Tucson Sam Salzwedel caught up with them today. Sam?
Well, Canyon Del Oro football players are getting ready for one of their biggest games of the year, playing crosstown rival Ironwood Ridge. This afternoon, the coaches thought community service was a better idea than practice.
I'm exhausted, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Ken Kitts is doing everything he can to get ready for almost 50 guests.
Get us 6 kids in there and then 6 kids up here.
Canyon Del Oro football players were recruited to move Kitts home.
No time for fumbling.
Big items and small.
Show them the pipes, baby.
You gotta have humor. You gotta have humor.
Kitts is a disabled veteran who's unable to move out of his flooded home by himself.
Just tell them what you want them to do.
Okay, thank you.
For now, the coaches aren't worried about the rivalry.
What's more beneficial for these guys, getting ready for Ironwood Ridge or doing this?
I think in the long run, they'll remember this. In the long run, they'll remember this, and we all will. And everybody needs help. You know, when we have the opportunity to do so, we can do a lot of damage with these boys in about 30 minutes.
That's great. You know, we've been really working on developing a brotherhood.
You want to take all this stuff out of here, kid?
The team chemistry, we're coming together. That's going to help on the field.
Who you playing?
Ironwood.
Thank you for your service.
Tomorrow.
Ironwood. Well, they're dead wood.
The team makes quick work of almost everything.
I don't know what to say. It's a blessing, and they're good people in the world. And thank everyone.
I figured somebody in the community would call back and say, hey, that's my dog, and come pick her up.
A dog pulls off an incredible disappearing trick. A husky named Lady was adopted, then vanished.
But the way she reappeared had nothing to do with her training. News for Tucson, Sam Salzwedel has all the details. It's new at 10.
Well, nobody knows how old Lady is, but her age is not even close to the biggest mystery in her life.
She has a sad look on her face, but she's been good.
Sarah Kuiper found a husky and brought her back to the house. Her dad, John Kuiper, figured finding the owner would be easy.
She's a really sweet dog, and she's been a lot of fun.
They later learned Lady belongs to the Riveras.
It just wasn't the same at the house without her.
It's been very sad.
One of the Kuiper's neighbors works for a vet and used a microchip reader to find the dog's ID.
You missing a dog? And I said, well, yeah, Lady. Said, well, she's been found. And I said, well, really? Where? Tucson, Arizona. And I said, what?
He says, yeah, I'm going to see if I can get some time off to pick her up. And I'm thinking, why?
The Riveras live in El Paso.
I couldn't believe it.
I was like, okay. Then she take the bus, she walked.
Sunday afternoon, they drove 300 miles.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
She's been missing 4 months.
She remembers you guys. Oh, wow.
I'm like so excited and I just want to cry and I'm so thankful to all of them.
The chip saved her. If she hadn't been chipped, then we would be looking for someone to adopt her right now.
Even the fishes, chip them and pay that money because it's worth it.
Kind of sad, kind of happy, but I'm kind of glad giving her back.
Hopefully they'll come to El Paso and visit her. So they got our address. They could come over anytime to come visit her.
The city of Tucson is naming a bridge after 18 airmen who were killed on November 30th, 1944. 2 B-24 bomber crews collided during a training mission at Davis Mountain and they crashed in the Pantano Wash. News 4 Tucson Sam Salzwedel has more on the unlikely events that brought comfort to one family. It's new at 6.
Well, when a hobbyist metal detector found a .50 caliber cartridge in the Pantano Wash, he never thought he would be making a new tourist attraction.
I'm gonna give you a hug. Okay. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
Kay Richter's meeting the men who got a bridge named to honor an uncle she never met. She happens to be visiting Arizona from South Carolina.
I talked to my mom that morning and told her we were coming to Tucson, and she said, "Oh no." And I said, what's wrong with Tucson? And she said, "That's where Thomas was killed."
She did some quick research on her phone.
I saw the news report from December 19th and about the bridge.
A group of hobbyist metal detectors heard a story about a plane crash from a friend. They later found a cartridge in a wash.
Oh my gosh, this is what you found.
Yeah. After a trip to the library, Ray Villalobos and his friends learned a pair of B-24s crashed and killed 18 people in the Pantano Wash. It happened in the middle of a war that killed more than 400,000 Americans.
If we hadn't heard the story would have died. If we hadn't have found the cartridge, the story would have died. If we hadn't had the forethought to put the two together, it would have died. No one would have ever known about it.
It's just an incredible, coincidental, divine intervention situation that I'm privileged to be part of.
While in town, Richter made sure to call her 90-year-old mother, Thomas Dixon's sister.
We just never thought that the boys got any recognition for giving their lives for this country. What you have done for us is worth $1 million.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
Yes.
For my mother and her brothers, it was so tragic. They really couldn't talk about it that much all through their lives. And last night, for the first time, they were so excited.
She sent the letter he mailed home and his death notification.
My mom has told me more in the last 24 hours than I've heard in 57 years.
At their best guess of the actual crash site, she filled a bag of dirt to take back home.
Now I feel like I know Thomas. Strangers now that we just met, and they will forever be part of our family story.